Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Hey everybody, we back again.
We're back and we're live. Venus?
I'm Spencer, and of course that's our licensed clinical therapist, Nas.
Intrusive thoughts, Nas.
God damn it. You're supposed to say Dr. Nas.
Dr. Nas, I'm a clinical therapist that happens to, say, I got Tourette's. This is a disability.
Oh.
This is a disability.
That's why you said the N-word. Remember, don't take us too serious.
Dude, it's completely up to you. It's 1 a.m, people. We're in our loop-de-loos right now.
Don't forget to rub those likes, Fizz. We'd really appreciate it. So, for this pod, Nas went on another show by himself because, hey, fuck me.
Yeah, fuck you. I like the self-pleasure.
Yeah. I like the solo play. Thank you very much.
I do.
Thank you. But yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about what the pod is and what's coming up next?
It was a very interesting podcast where this person is starting a new pod specifically focused on therapists, but it states that I am human too. I'm human too, the therapist. And she's a woman of color, and wanted people to start to speak their truth on what led them in their journey. So kind of what Spencer always does with everyone, with our new guests, what's their journey? And so where Spencer's interviews are like 20 minutes, this one was like a 50-minute kind of interview of trials and tribulations. What was graduate school like? What's it like being a person of color and holding all of that, while working with other folks of color? I told her during the pod how magnificent her voice is. Spencer's like, she's got a voice for it. I listened to it on Spotify. And she's just like, and I'm like, girls, I know it was almost too many. No. But like her guests are pretty good, and the realness that everyone's bringing to her pod is pretty awesome. And I don't think people really get to hear the side of the therapist very often. So like our pod is kind of morphed into that, Spence, which is like really good. But it's also to see like all these folks of color that she's bringing in. So hopefully everyone enjoys it. No story time for this. Go follow her. Go check her out. It's a small pod that's in its production. I really don't care who you are, how small your following is. Me and Spencer are either going to have you on or I'll go join it if we have the time. So if we have the time, which we really don't. So I made the time to meet with them, and it was good. So go check it out and, learn some shit. I don't know. Learn who I am. Learn the stuff.
Learn more about me because you never talk enough. This is literally a show now just about you talking.
Yep.
You cut me out and you're just like, I'm just talking now.
Let me talk to this white woman. Well, no, I think she was. She was.
She just
She
is the
was. She
person of
was.
color.
She's a type of olive that I don't know what race she is, but she's olive skinned.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah,
she got the
fair.
spice.
Let's get into it.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop 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 whoop.
You're like, this one should be shorter. Nope.
It was short.
Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about our new collaborator, Toynk Toys. They have a wide selection of, you guessed it, toys and other great collectibles. They have products from Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and everything pop culture. You could say they put the toy in Toynk. So go check them out at toynk.com and use our code Different Spectrums Podcast to get 10% off your entire order today.
So, welcome on to I'm Human Too, Dr. Naz. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
So I'm Nazir Zerka. I go by Dr. Naz, doctorate in social work, counselor, therapist. Been working as a counselor since 2015. All of it in higher education. So 3 different universities. Currently at Purdue University in Indiana in the Big Ten Conference. And it's all clinical work, group therapy, primary populations, students of color, student athletes, and the main specialty though that people come to me for is usually autism. So like the podcast that we do, different spectrums, right? It's all autism related stuff. It's all therapeutic and mental health stuff, but I usually focus on autism. But it's like everything under the sun. So there's not a lot of black or brown therapists in higher ed. It's mostly white individuals, white bodied. So me being Mexican and Arab, right? And then growing up in mostly black schools, urban areas, coming out of, everyone knows what Flint, Michigan is. So my father's from Flint, Michigan, right? And then I went to some schools there, but it was mostly in Saginaw, Michigan, a little north. So usually diverse populations. Last thing is he, him pronouns. Yeah. So that's the introduction.
Yeah.
Whenever I make this face, I'm being funny and weird. FYI.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So that is a lengthy resume. And it's impressive. You are holding space for such important individuals, for important topics. What has that been like for you? How has your own story influenced how you've stepped into your career, your work, the people you work with?
It's weird. So you're working. It's weird. It's awesome, but it's weird. So you start off as a therapist, and I was going to undergrad. Well, for one, I didn't even know I was going to college, but I happened to be a big boy at like 6'2", 320 pounds in high school on all these really awesome football teams. You get football scholarships and recruited, right? And then you're like, oh shit, I guess I'm going to school. And then I was like, oh, I'm pretty smart too. So I got some scholarships for academics. You know, I was thinking about medicine. It's like, nah, I like muscles. So I'm going to work with muscles. So you go into physical therapy. Then I got a double major in that time. And so then I couldn't get into physical therapy school because the GPA wasn't that 3.8 that I needed. It's like that 3.4. Not good at writing papers, dyslexia, pretty bad, right? It's just hard to read and write at times. So then it parlayed into me applying to a social work program, started working, and then immediately you get in this mentorship. And your professors, right, your awesome black women are talking to me and like, yo, you got a shot at being really good. Because the way you talk, the way you carry yourself, it's very authentic, a little inappropriate at times. Because most people center themselves, even if they're of color, around whiteness, and they assimilate, they give up all that stuff to act very professional, right? I'm not doing that. Well, some of it's because I'm autistic as hell, and I'm like, I'm going to be me, and I'm not going to code switch. And they're like, well, it's going to cost you jobs. Well, I'm like, okay. But then you end up interviewing at these places where these awesome people are like, we're betting on you because you seem awesome. Even though there's some other things. So the degree has changed. Who I work with has changed, right? Because it's focused primarily on certain students now. But holding space, the reason why I tell you about these people that have groomed me in undergrad and then grad school, it's because like, dude, you got a shot at being someone. You need to act a little bit better. You need to work a little bit harder on your papers. Because the first semester I was like getting D's. I'm not good at writing, so I had to put in a lot of effort and edit things like 9 times. Go through it 9 times. And she's like, you're going to heal a lot of people just by being you, just by being brown. And I was like, that's not true. She's like, no, it's true. Fast forward, I'm like sobbing in the office when she's telling me this. Because she's like, you need to do better. She's also like, you need to remember, you need to talk a little bit better too, dress a little bit better. And I'm like, but I don't want to do that. Well, she's like, you have to because you're going to sacrifice all these other people healing. You got to give up a little bit of something. So a lot of identity stuff. And then now it's real. I just got done working with a bunch of awesome, beautiful women of color, Latino women. And one of them, I was like, girl, you need therapy. She's like, nah. I'm like, and she's like, all right.
But it's
I was like, girl, send me an email. Send me an email. Yeah. I know we're here talking about your friend. You need to send me an email. It's magnificent. People heal from you. And you would think that because you're a big boy or like masculine dude, like maybe they won't, maybe they'll be scared to talk to you. Nope. You actually end up healing people on a lot of gender related issues because you are a male that's connected, emotional, kind, empathetic. You're not sexualizing all the other things like other individuals are. You keep showing up. You don't reject people. So it ends up healing a lot of wounds because of my gender, size, masculinity, and ethnicity. And then you throw in socioeconomic status in it. Then you throw in like autism in it because I'm open with that. So that way they don't think autism is like the kid eating Legos. Right? Or like extremely disabled. Disabled to me is like something different. To me, autism could be disabled, but it also just means a differing of abilities to me. So it's a long explanation. Work with a ton of different stuff. It's heart-warming. It's sad. It's awesome. It's uplifting. Whenever I get my students of color, though, I get like super attached. And like when they go through like legit pain, then I like legit get super, super fucking sad. I don't show them. Unless it pops out or it needs to, then I show them. Does that make sense?
What's showing up for you in there? Yeah. I mean, that countertransference you're speaking of is very real.
Real.
And there's so much truth and just being a brown body in the therapeutic world. I was just having a conversation with my guest last week, Emily Nash, around the work of decolonization in the therapeutic world and institutions and education. And it's really difficult work. And for you, it sounds like there's so much pressure, and it probably doesn't maybe necessarily feel like a hard pressure for you because you have this freedom and compassion for yourself to just show up authentically. But there's a lot that you represent, a lot of important things that you represent. So how have you held that?
There's not many brown dudes doing this. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I know 1 or 2. You know 1 or 2. Right? You see the industry and it's mostly white women. God bless the folks. God bless them. But you're not just going to see a lot of males in it. You're not going to see a lot of like, what I would say like more masculine men as well. Because we kind of get weeded out into like other different career fields, the caring fields. We gender it and we feminize it. And so, you know, you can't do that, man, or that's soft, or, you know, you'll get to, oh man, that's super gay that you're doing that. It's like, for real, this is what we're doing. Like you wish you had someone to talk to when you were younger, but like, okay. Or I'll get people when I talk about therapy and they'll be like, why do you even care about these kids? Because I'm trying to be the person that I needed when I was younger. Like, you didn't need no one, dude. Your life was fine. I'm like, my life was fine? I was depressed as hell. I was suicidal as hell. I was autistic as hell. Didn't fit in with anyone other than other autistic kids. Sure as hell didn't fit in with the white kids because I was too urban. And then with some of the black and brown folks, didn't fit in with them because I was also a little too preppy. So you never really fully fit in. And you see a lot of our other black and brown clients too. They're either not black enough, not white enough, not brown enough. They don't speak Spanish, or they're not Mexican, not Puerto Rican enough, not Spanish enough. You see it. And like no one ever fits in. And so it's super isolating. And then they meet me and I'm like, what's up? And the kid's like, what do you mean what's up? I'm like, you fit in with me because I'm weird. And they're like, well, I don't ever fit in with anyone. Well, I like you. And we're going to have to find you some other weird kids too. So it's like a cool healing when you're authentic with clients, because that allows them to be authentic. But if the therapist is like super centered again around professionalism, which is centered around whiteness, then it gets weird, man. Super stuffy, super dry. And so this authenticity thing, you're starting to see more counselors doing it now, therapists doing it now. Like with the old school stuff is like, nope. It's never centered around my issues and like stuff, but I talk about family, trials, tribulations, because folks of color use stories. We learn through stories, right? It's passed down to the generations through stories. And so I'm like, that's not in the books. Like there's not a lot, there's case studies. It's not a story. So people will ask me like, is therapy fun? Or my first job interview, not my first job interview, my first job that they accepted me. It's like, nah, this is a vice president of like student life. He's like, you said it's fun, but it's not always fun. So he's like, how do you deal with that? I'm like, dude, this shit's always fun to me. Like you get people to be better versions and graduate and you're going to their games or you're showing, I spend the kids' baptisms. Like this stuff is fun. You know, and I said, you know, as a person of color that grew up in a lot of poverty, a lot of different things, a lot of violence, the stuff I see in the office don't scare me. This crisis situations, students being psychotic, suicidal, I'm like, okay, I'll show you what's scary. Is someone trying to kill you with a gun or a knife or like legit violence or harassment. That's scary. A kid talking about, you know, they're like scared and depressed, not scary. So you see a lot of us folks of color, some of us that have been through some stuff, white folks too, that have been through stuff. We tend to be super calm in crisis. But that's a trauma response, but like, this is a good one. So like, at least now my trauma is like worth something.
Yes. That's interesting that you put it that way, because often it can feel like that for sure.
Yeah.
Like you've been in these really dangerous situations at a very young age, and your tolerance is so much higher. I hear that all the time of like, you know, I see a lot of clients every single week and a lot of especially white-bodied therapists telling me like, I don't know how you do that. And it's like my tolerance has to be so high because of how I was. Yeah.
It has to be
My
high to
lived
put up with y'all
experience.
in the office.
Well, that too.
You didn't say that. I said that.
You said that,
I
yes.
said, I
But
don't want to get you
also
in
it's
trouble now.
real. It's it's real. It's the unconscious messaging that happens and that we're constantly holding, embracing, and tolerating. And so I'm glad that you're doing the work to just undo the harm and lessening the impact on kids who don't fit in, brown and black bodies, and creating safe space and community and connection in a different way, a more authentic way, because you're right. It doesn't have to be clinical and stuffy and right. We're using all the right language and I can't show up in session. And I'm glad to be seeing the shift in the therapeutic community where authenticity is a thing. You get to be a human in the room. It's fucking rad.
It's awesome. It's okay for me to swear on this podcast, right?
Yes, we swear a lot. I
just
think
making
I've
sure.
used the F-bomb multiple times, and Brennan's probably like hating himself because he's like, edit it out.
No, you can't edit it out, man. You know, don't do that. Don't police us. I'm joking. You know, Brennan over here being racist now. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm sorry. Yeah, man, it's cool to be authentic, man, because the work gets too hard if you have to mask. And everyone masks. We call it for like a lot of women, queer folk, brown folk, black folk. We call it code switching.
Oh, yeah.
But in actuality, it's like just masking. And like autistic folks that also happen to have those identities doing it even more. Even more. And the algorithm, what I call of humans, because everyone has their own algorithm, cultures, religions, they all have an algorithm. And like people are like, that sounds super autistic. And I was like, I wonder why. But we all got this algorithm. It's hard to figure out what works with what folks. Well, you adjust it. You know, you adjust it. When I came to this university, I didn't work a lot with international kids. And now it's like a high caseload. So Purdue University has, I think like 20,000 out of like 50,000 kids who are international. So it's one of the highest in America.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's pretty high, very diverse. Like some folks will be like, man, school's super white. It is. because it's less than 1% black. And I think it's like, ooh, I don't want to misquote it. I think it's like 5 or 6% Latinx. So it's not very high either. And then international is like really high. But the international stuff has a lot of different ethnicities in it. But like I didn't know any of those issues, and you learn and you grow, and how you get, really compassionate. Talking about these visas, talking about deportation, you're talking about so much crazy stuff. You're talking about how these teachers and professors own them as PhD or grad students. You get into a lot of weird stuff now in higher ed. So earlier you said, like, what's it been like? It's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool to be the only brown male in our office, but it's also like super sad. I've had a higher rate of black and brown bodies, doesn't matter their national, what nationality they are, in the last couple of months. Brings me a lot of happiness and joy. Oh, recently, I'm going to talk about this. This is fun. So recently, you might have seen it. There was a post going around social media about all these black individuals that are going to NASA. They're working at NASA, and it was like all the natural, beautiful bodies, the hair and all that stuff. It's going around everywhere. And boy, I thought about one of my clients because they're getting ready to go get this job at NASA. I'm like, man, it's going to be you. And I said, you see it? And they said, yeah, I saw it. And I said, yeah, we're working towards. But we're fighting racism, we're fighting depression, we're fighting anxiety, relationship. Like there's so many different things. So to be that person that is the one getting people to like this next level, bruh, to be that person that should be dead or in prison that's getting people to the next level is like unfathomable. Yeah.
How do you hold those rough days? Like, I mean, myself as a therapist, there are some really good proud moments, and there's also days where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Who am I to do this work?
So, bro.
Like, let me tell you real quick.
No. I'm here. The narcissism will come out now. Let me tell you how good I am. It's never a confidence issue actually these days. That's been rooted out through supervision and through magnificent women that have gassed me up. I know I'm good. My clients tell me good. My supervisors told me good. There's no wavering confidence at all. What gets hard is when my clients get hurt or abused or assaulted under my care. Now that makes me hate everybody. That makes me hate the world. That makes me think that, Thanos and Marvel was right and we should just destroy half the world. That makes me think that we should restart. And it's really hard for me to regulate when they get hurt because I get very protective. And it's, all humans, we get close to folks. Those in the spectrum, though, like the bonds are intense. And you work with someone for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and now you're getting them to graduate. But then a story comes up and they throw you off and you're like, damn. And then you got to sit with it. And you can consult about it, right? But it doesn't matter because the pain's already done to them. And then you get them out of it. Yeah, it's tough. Those are the tough days when you hate the world. Or when you work with a student client, like multiple sessions, right? We're working on so much stuff. We're doing better. And they say, hey, Niles. What? I've been meaning to tell you something. I haven't wanted to talk about it for a while. It's really tough. I'm like, I already know what it is. And I know it's going to be a trigger warning for some folks. It's going to be an assault. And it is. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man. How is there so many people at this high rate? Those are the things that get me down. Is the loss in like feeling like humanity is even good. Like, what's the point? But then I get these bright and shiny stars that remind me that this is why I'm doing it. I get my students that are like so human and innocent and awesome and wonderful and like shiny. Like warm entire room and campus. Well, like me, I'm not the best person. Like everyone you talk to, like I'm not the nice person. I'm a straight up asshole. And people love me and I'm kind and warm and I'm funny, but I got a lot of sarcasm, a lot of jokes, right? I push people pretty hard therapeutically. Like I'm a very interesting individual. But this, like, just to sit with you and the kindness and warmth, like I can give it off and I do give it off and people heal around me. But there's certain people who are like, we need to protect this one. This is like the one. And so I've had multiple of those throughout my entire career. This year I've had multiple come in. Here's an example. We're doing the end of the semester stuff, right? So we're just meeting people once, doing an intake, and kind of referring you to like people for like the summer. Well, there's been a handful. I'm like, I'm gonna meet you again next week. I'm gonna meet you again the following week, and we're only supposed to see people once every 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, there's something here.
Mm-hmm.
Can't explain it, but there's like something here that we need to get you to the next step.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the humans that I look for. I look forward to. Some of my favorites are graduating this semester, which is like fantastic. One of them, we're going to buy some. I'm going to buy some sweets in town. We're going to eat some cheesecake. And I said, "Girl, we're going to cry our asses off. She's like, "I know." She already started crying. I said, "Just wait. You don't cry now. Yeah. Well, let's wait till we get the food. I'm not eating in front of you.
Time and place.
I'm not eating in front of you." I said, "You going to eat this goddamn cheesecake. This shit's expensive." But like that's what I look forward to is seeing people graduate.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a large importance when we can see even therapy as seasonal, not the ultimate fix, right? It kind of shifts perspective to I'm broken to I can heal and I can be empowered to be able to hold myself. And I do long-term attachment work, so I'll see people for years and years and years. And so that moment of graduation is like, okay, you are stable, you're standing on your own 2 feet, you've done large attachment healing, and that's incredible. There's nothing like seeing someone who can feel like they have life and they can tolerate life and they go from survival to thriving. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
FY, does anyone ever tell you got a lovely voice?
Thank you.
It's like this is the podcast voice. My co-star has a podcast voice, and I'm like, you bastard. I take direct offense when I like things from other people. I don't get jealous. I get offended.
You're offended.
I take it personal.
You're offended. I'm sorry.
Isn't that what Jordan said?
Sorry.
And I took that personal.
Yeah.
Joking. Real quick, something that you said I wanted to vibe off of. And this isn't me like messing with you or anything like that. So I like to go about it in a different way because I had too many people saying I'm broken.
Mm.
And then I was like, well, we're going to fix you. We're going to heal you. We're going to patch you up, Humpty Dumpty, all that stuff. We're going to figure it out. Well, now I'm like, no, you know what? You are broken. And we're all broken.
Tell me more.
We're all broken. And I think
I agree with that.
Fixing and healing stuff is awesome, but it doesn't mean like you're going to be perfect or unbroken. We're just going to smooth over some of the edges, right? So maybe we do some patchwork, but you're always going to be broken. But maybe not as devastated, maybe not as suffering as before. Like you know what I'm getting at. But like this unbroken thing with some of my clients, because like my client's neurodivergent. You're not changing this neurology. So you're going to be atypical from the rest of the path. You're going to be different. You're never going to be normal. I don't even know what the hell normal is.
Yeah, please define that.
I know. Well, it's going to be centered around whiteness, but that's a different story for a different day. And I always tell my students, say, yeah, man, you're still broken, man. You're going to have some anxieties. I always like to go acceptance. We're going to accept that this, and this is going to be you, but it's going to be a lot better. And you're not going to be just surviving, like you said, right? You're going to be a little bit thriving. You're going to backslide. We always plan for backsliding. So that's not just addiction issues. That's like in all mental health issues. So I've seen a lot better results when I work with my clients, and I mess it up all the time. I'm like, I said it today. I was talking to these awesome women. I was like, you're not broken. I was like, damn, let me rephrase it. Y'all all crazy as hell. But you're magnificent and wonderful and strong and caring and loving. And that's why all of you are in this room right now talking to me about certain issues. And so those broken bits, sometimes we find the beauty in the broken bits. I'm not saying we're grateful for trauma and all that because people get offended about that. But like in the brokenness, you find a lot of beautiful stuff, and striving for that perfection of whatever the hell that is, the Barbie, that's just going to make you feel like shit about the person you are now. So how do we create change without also carrying nothing but shame the entire time?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to change the narrative around folks being like, broken. I'm broken.
Mm-hmm.
Your therapist is broken.
Yes, I would agree with that. The messy, complicated.
Well, complicated.
Yes. Yeah. I read this thing and it was talking about how there's this art in I think it's Japan, don't quote me, where they'll break pottery and then they put it back together with gold solder.
Yep.
And so it's this idea of like you can be broken and you can be put back together in a way that is more beautiful than it felt before. And it doesn't mean that it's perfect or that you can't see where you shattered, but it just is supported in a different way. Yeah, and my clients get so irritated with me because they'll be like, I was doing so good and now I'm not. And it's like, well, there's no progression without regression. Like we go forward and then we have to go backwards. And it's this complicated game of just moving through life with compassion and acceptance. So yeah,
Patience and kindness.
yes.
So hopefully none of my clients will see this before this airs, but my crescendo when they graduate is, I get into my voice and my emotions and I'm like, I just need you to be more patient, more kind. And like, I'll keep rephrasing that in different ways. More patient, more kind. You ain't gonna take no shit from nobody because I done taught you better now. You ain't gonna let no one fuck this up. But you got to be very patient and kind to yourself moving forward in almost all circumstances. And everyone tanks. Because I'm also letting them know, like, you got it. You just got to do these two things. And you got it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Japan that does that. You see it in a lot of the samurai art and stuff like that, where it's that gold. You're right. There's a lot of beauty in it, man. I used to tell people, I still do. So do you like fruit? I'm super weird. You like fruit? And they're like, yeah, I like to mess with people. Yeah, I like fruit. You like apples? Yeah. Bananas? Yeah. Got bruises on it sometimes, right? And they're like, yeah, you eat it with the bruises? I pick around it. Well, yeah, but you pick around that banana and like it's still good, right? So you mean to tell me that something's bruised and damaged is still really nutritious and sweet as hell? Oh, okay. So what about you? Still got a lot of love, life, willpower, all these wonderful things that are inside of it. And it's still sweet as hell, even with the damaged and bruised bits. Still sweet as hell.
I love that. I'm stealing that.
Remember, you got to put the sweet because, right, it's overripe. And it gets sweeter and sweeter. Some folks ain't going to like it, because, the damaged bits and you're too sweet. I'm a diabetic,
I'm thinking like then you get banana bread.
Yeah.
You toast that bitch up.
I'm a banana bread. I ain't gonna lie. I eat this banana and my toe gonna fall off. Oh, you're not my type.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
Oh my God. So I'm really ADHD with a lot of stuff. Random things. So I think a lot of things in movie clips, hence our whole podcast is movie clips and how people visualize, folks on the spectrum visualize everything, right? And so when you said like the backsliding, I think of Alfred from Batman. And he says in multiple movies, why do we fall? Do you know why do we fall?
No, tell me. I'm waiting.
Why we fall? You don't know why we fall?
There's a million different answers to that. Are you looking for a specific answer?
Well, Brennan got something. Huh?
Do you want me to, can I say it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can pick ourselves back up.
Yep. So you can learn to pick yourself back up. You got it.
Okay.
Why do you fall? So you can learn to get back up. That's it.
Okay.
And so I'll center a lot of conversations around that. I also center conversations when students get like nihilistic, clients get nihilistic, and life is just falling. You always getting back up, ain't you? You always get back up. What's that about? Well, I'm tired and I don't want to do it anymore. Okay. You want to do it anymore. I get it. You're tired. Life is hard. Life sucks. Life is bitter and it's just a shit slide all the way down. But man, you know what the bottom is. You know what the bottom is. This is your reference. So imagine if you do ever get to like contentment or happiness, you will be so grateful and in such ecstasy, you will cry in happiness and joy. where everyone else is so habituated to this privilege and this kindness, this awesome, the loving family and money, and they go to college and everything works out, and they face a little bit of crisis, little twist their ankle, metaphorically.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you're devastated, suicidal. The kid, man, you should have been quit, committed suicide, things like that, right? But here you are, resilient as shit. And you're on your way to being happy. You're doing therapy, meds, got better relationships, maybe you're not using drugs and alcohol as much. But, you know, they're like, oh, it's boring, or oh, it's this or that, or it's really hard, but man, you're almost there. Sometimes I feel like I'm selling people on a fake promise. I hate that because I don't like hustling people. Because I grew up with a family of hustlers. And I'm really good at it. And I've got the personality as a wooer. And like, if I wanted to make a lot of money hustling, I could. But I don't see the point, and that's not my meaning or purpose. If I want to do the devil's work, I could. But I choose to be good every day. And to show people like, man, if you can just make it, you will be so happy. I tell people about me riding my bike at my old university out in Minnesota. And I'll be riding my bike. And riding your bike is a privilege, FYI. Folks don't know this. Think about it. A lot of folks call it can't ride the bike. Why? It's too dangerous to ride your bike outside because of violence. You know, you got kid abductions, things like that, right? It's a privilege to ride your bike, to walk your dog. You always know it's a nice neighborhood when you see a couple of white ladies walking dogs.
Yeah, that's real.
It's a good one. But to ride your bike is a privilege. So I'm riding my bike one day. I got a little bit of money in the bank, vacations, and I'm like, Jesus, I'm very emotional and I cry a lot. Because I touch certain emotions, and if I'm touching them, then I fall apart, which is fine. I'm like, I am so lucky. And then you start to get survivor's remorse or regret, or like shame, because why did you make it out of these things? Why are you alive? Well, how come other friends didn't make it or didn't get educated? How come they didn't go to college? You know, how come these people died of alcohol, drug-related issues, gang-related issues? You know, why, when I got into a few violent things and weird things, why didn't I get, like, you know, why wasn't I imprisoned? Boy didn't show up to court. That's why. But like, different story for a different day.
Like, let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, you know, statute of limitations. You know, it ain't passed yet. I'm joking. That was a long time ago. That's 2009. I got in trouble and expelled from school. I went to multiple and transferred multiple universities. Took me 7 years to get my undergrad degree. Then the master's was 2. Then the doctorate was 2. So I always tell students, man, I'm dumb as shit, man. If I can do it, you can do it.
I say the same thing. That's real.
Bruh.
It's resiliency. It's not about like how smart you are. It's how many times are you willing to get back up?
How many, or do you have people to help you get back up?
Yes.
Because I did not do this on my own. Right. I told you about the mentors that I've had, pseudo therapists, my father that was incarcerated from 4 to like 13, something like that, you know, 8, 9 years. Right. And then he comes out of prison and everything just changes. And like, you got someone to believe in you. And you're like, oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I am smart. Oh, maybe I can be an athlete. Oh, okay. Like, I got a shot. And then you go to college and then people are like, you got a shot. Some are like, you're trash. Some look at me like, I've seen those looks. My entire life, I've seen those looks of disgust because of my behavior, personality, writing. Like, I've seen it. And then they see me a couple years later and they're like, oh, they look at me like bright-eyed, like, you? I've had friends say, you're a therapist? I'm like, damn, bro, why you say that? Well, you know, it's you. What's that mean?
Yeah.
Well, you talk a lot of trash and, you know, you weren't always the like most loving and kind. I was like, oh, you must not know me that well. Because them boys, my quarterback, my running back, a couple of my offensive lineman boys, my Chicanos, right? I'm like, we're close. We would literally kill for each other. But you like a tertiary friend, you know? And I apologize too to some folks because I was toxic. But when you grow up in this environment of all these black and brown bodies, you're just talking shit all the time. All the time. You're roasting. I do it now. And it's always in my personality, right? I'm roasting people. Even in session, I'm roasting people. My intern, I just gave her a lovely card. Like, you're awesome. You're magnificent. I put in with mentor slash therapist said too in a book called The Seussisms. Dr. Seuss, but it's the best ones.
Oh, nice.
Seussisms.
Have to check that out. Okay.
Magnificent. So it's my gift to most of my graduating folks, or all the places you'll go, or the Giving Tree, depending.
I love the Giving Tree. Yeah,
Super sad, but good.
it's good.
And
It's a good cry.
Right. So I wrote some stuff in there, and at the end, this is in group therapy. My intern, she's graduating. I said, "Hey, I put my heart and soul into this. This is some of the best writing. I'm just talking out of my mouth now, side of my mouth. It's some of the best writing I've ever done." She's like, "For real?" And everyone's like in group. My one boy who knows me, he's like, "This guy's a piece of shit." And I said, "I want you to read it out loud, girl." And she reads it out loud. It says, "P.S. You ain't shit. Stay humble." Sorry, Brennan.
Very, very relevant.
Very relevant. And then I backed off on that. I'm like, hey, I'm never going to tell women to be humble because dudes are never humble. And like I started breaking down the gender of it, right? So we had a good discussion afterwards.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of love and affirmation. I told her not to read in group because I didn't want her to cry in group in front of all the students. But there's this humanity of being laughy and jokeable to being real and authentic. It also puts everyone's security or defense mechanisms down. Everyone knows the funny person will tell you you can get anything out of anyone if you're the funny person.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, you catch people off guard, and it's a sense of safety and connection.
So the question is why is the therapist a funny person? Why are they a funny person? Is it a defense mechanism? Is it to test people to see if they're safe, right? You say a few jokes, oh, they're racist or they're abusive or are they going to cancel you, right? You test people. So that's why I do it. And folks that are smart know it. But I do it with my students because it's cannon fodder. I get you looking over here, and next thing you know, we're talking about these irrational thoughts over here, and they're like, damn, did we just do therapy? Yep. Yep. Today we talked about the Taylor Swift album. We went into a full therapeutic thing about Taylor Swift. Kid went on a full diatribe about it. And I say, hey, by the way, man, did you think anything about that chronic pain that you always focus on? Did it ever recenter back to that? No. But what if we were to stand up and do this? Would it recenter back to that? Yes. So I was trying to see what's the difference and how mindful are they in the conversation and moment, or how much does the chronic pain pull them away? And if it does pull them away, are they depressed, anxious? Do they get shameful? Like I'm weird, and I've got a lot of methods to my madness, but it's I can't always explain it. But my clients know it always circles back. And so is that ADHD? Is that me just laying down a lot of smoke and then figuring out, letting you deal with the smoke, and then I got you?
Yeah.
It's interesting being a therapist.
Brilliant?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Or is it brilliant?
Well, I didn't say that.
It is. I did. I did. Yeah. But I mean, humor is a very important coping. I mean, from what where I come from and my lived experience, and also sitting with clients, we often will use humor. Like it's right. If you're always in the deep, dark, sad reality of the violence that you come from and in your family, it's hard to always hold that tension. And so you need humor. It needs to be a little bit lighter. That's at least how I survived, and how my family survived. So.
Yeah, sometimes it's just too hard to just be sitting and crying, man. Yeah. And
but you got to learn how to do it.
Yeah. There's a lot of kinship and laughter too. People crap all over trauma bonds. Hey man, that's some of the strongest bonds out of my life. And then you just laugh through it and you get through it. And next thing you know, you're like, damn, it's been 20 years. Best friends for 20 years. He looks at me. I hate you. I don't even know why I talk to you. I'm like, whatever, man. Godfather of your child. But men are weird, man. It's the affirmation and love, and we're weird with it. And I know that with myself. I also know with some clients that I don't like to see certain crying. No, the certain duration or intensity. Because now I feel like it's destroying you. It's not that it's destroying me, but I feel like it's destroying you. And so now I get protective. So I'll protect you sometimes in session from yourself because I'm like, oh, we got all the emotions out the last couple sessions. Now it's the third time and you're going to start right off crying again. I'm like, wait a minute. So we do a little grounding, maybe a distraction. Maybe it's a little funny humor. Maybe we're talking about the fidget toy that you're playing and why you like this one, because everyone hates this one and I hate this one, but you pick this one. So what's wrong with you? What's really wrong with you? That you picked this damn squish toy that just flies everywhere. Kid stops crying. And I said, yeah, and then a couple minutes go by, I said, I tricked you, right? She's like, I know. I'm like, but you ain't crying anymore. Again, humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some of that's part of me. Because, right, I don't like to see people sit in that deep devastation all the time. And it's so hard to actually do trauma therapy when they're just completely falling apart. Like when you're like hyperventilating and all that, right? It's intense.
It is intense. I mean, I am certified in EMDR. And so just even those levels of disassociation that can happen when we're completely dysregulated can be very unconsciously protective. And so, I couldn't tolerate only doing talk therapy because it put me in a position of feeling so helpless, and a feeling of powerlessness when I were ruminating on the same thing again and again and again, or they're so dysregulated that we can't even get through the thing that they want to work on. So when I started doing EMDR, it was a game changer because all of a sudden there was a huge uplift in tolerance and regulation and and it was easier on me too emotionally. I didn't feel so much responsibility to help people regulate or move through something. It was like I could hand it back to them around, we're going to do guided imagery, we're going to do breath work or whatnot. This is what we're doing. And this is a setup to reprocess so that you can be in your body when we talk about these things. And it made a big difference because
For sure.
it's so hard sitting with clients who didn't get the attunement or the parenting or the attachment or the safety that they needed in order to be able to be structured or stable in the ways that they want to be. So being able to hold that is important.
That attachment stuff, right? I mean, you got folks that are hurt from all the childhood stuff, and like you're that regulating person, that new anchor. They call it unconditional positive regard. Depending on the client, I'd be like, hey man, it's love. This is what we call intimacy. This is what we call this agape, this platonic love. And I'm trying to show you how to heal by showing you this, the kindness that you didn't get. And so you're slowly building up that ego strength and the identity to being like, oh, I do have some value. Like, yeah, you do. And so that can put me in some weird positions too, if they look up to me in like certain roles. But we talk about it. If you're a really good, sharp therapist, you talk about it. You bring it back to the room and the relationship, the identities, the conversations, role modeling your relationship, but with their relationships outside of it. But the word is like love, man. And you're trying to show people how to do it. And if you don't name it, then how do you even get them to identify what they need to do with themselves or other people? So it's this thing with intimacy. And so like that can only get you so far, because sometimes the trauma and all that stuff, and they're so deregulated that they can't even hear the words. And if they internalize the words, they deregulate even further, because now you're invalidating their feelings of, I hate myself. I'm worthless. I'm terrible. I'm broken. I'm damaged. I'm ugly. I'm fat. I deserve to be hurt or violated. So you telling them that they're awesome, magnificent, kind, smart, it hurts them even more because they don't believe it. They hear it. But now that they're wrong again.
Yeah.
And now I'm letting Nas down. But I'm putting all this love into you, and I'm like, you got a shot. I just told the kid today, I said, you got a shot at being magnificent in your profession. And little kids are going to heal from you like no one else. You just got to make it. He's like, I don't know if I can make it. Well, we're going to make sure you make it. As long as I'm at the school, we're going to make it. And so the kid breaks down, but then slowly with some EMDR techniques, some regulation. Like we're getting to the place where they can actually hear it now and let it sit and then stew on it. Go home, stew on it. Because before, if I was to tell them to stew on stuff, they deregulate at home, then they dissociate. Now what?
Totally.
Now they're mad. Now they hate themselves. Now they they think I'm disappointed in them. Now they're suicidal again. In the same place they were. I didn't realize that was a thing until a couple years into therapy. Like affirming folks isn't always the best.
Well, and you're naming something so important, right? When we talk about attachment, attunement, it's not always in a positive, build them up type of way. It can also be in a disciplined type of way, right? And I think they're both equally important. Like being able to say, "Hey, this behavior is not necessarily healthy or helpful for you." Like, how do we keep you within the boundaries of making good choices and being self accountable to things that are really difficult? So if you are disassociating or even deregulating at home, right? Like, who are you going to co-regulate with if Dr. Knox isn't sitting with you or Heather's not with you or it's that's why it is such a long journey. You're teaching people how to be in a healthy, safe relationship with self before even other people.
And the only way you teach them that is you got to be that.
Yes.
You can tell them the words. What the hell do words mean? What am I going to do with some cognitive therapy? What am I going to do with challenging irrational thoughts? They need to see it in the office. Through stories, through their stories, right? Maybe through some of your stories, through guided imagery.
Through presence.
There's ways to do this. And it's not just CBT. It's not just DBT. It's through your humanity they heal.
Yes, say that again.
Through their your humanity they heal. So some folks will refer to it as a soul nerve. So that's a thing I've heard from some Black therapists. It's through that soul, that nerve they regulate. From person to person, they're that anchor that they regulate. It grounds them back into reality. The soul nerve is also, right, we identify as the vagus nerve. So, that's the way we think about it. Your podcast is I'm Human Too. Okay. We was talking to this dude named Dr. Corey Yeager, was the therapist for the Detroit Pistons, so one of my favorite all-time teams. And now he's working with the XFL and the NFL and stuff, doing wellness programming for them. And I explained something to him. He said, "You're a wounded healer." What was that? I was like, it makes sense, but my dumb ass. What that mean? He said, "You're a wounded healer, dude. So you've got wounds, but you're also healing other individuals, and those wounds are part of the story. They make you real. They see that they can be just like you because they're wounded too. So everyone is healing." I heard someone on Threads the other day. When is too much healing like too much? Or is there too much healing? Or can you meet the pinnacle of healing? I was like, I don't even know why you're asking that. You trying to get likes right now? Like, what are you asking, man?
Yeah. See Maslow's hierarchy of needs, please, and be dismissed.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of healing that can happen. You're always trying to be better, but not being hyper-focused as OCD about it. But there's always something to like heal on, to work on, to think about. Growth is infinity. We're always growing and always learning. There's new challenges every day. There's new stresses every day. But yeah, man, the people heal through your humanity, and I think my colleagues and coworkers, they see a certain version of me and they're like, I don't know how he works. But all the students love him, and he has high rates and referrals, and the satisfaction's super high, and the programming with all these different genders, sexualities, kids of color, fraternities and sorority. No one can go in there, but I do. But no one else can go in there and get the turnout or the clients to come in, specifically males, cis males. So something I'm doing is working. So what is it? It's the authenticity and humanity. It's the inappropriateness. It's a few swear words here and there. It's letting a few students like see when I talk about my mother dying that they see me get choked up like now. They see it, the realness. And so that makes people heal, because now you just showed a bunch of grown ass men that it's okay to be vulnerable or emotional. And what, you're going to challenge me about my masculinity? Who are you? You know, you 5'5", 110 pounds. Would you go? I eat steaks bigger than you. I'm probably going to die of a heart attack too, but like besides the point. And so a lot of my boys heal because they see me. I was talking with the Indianapolis Colts, right, in the NFL, and a bunch of the players and staff members about these things, masculinity. And my boy, who's the DEI officer there, he's now the chief of staff over at Indiana University. Shout out to Brian. But he had me come in there multiple years and work with some of the folks doing just work around DEI, but specifically masculinity around Black and brown populations. And that's some of my favorite work to do. Working with men, masculinity. But man, it sure is awesome when you get some of the sweetest individuals, right? That they could be these white-bodied individuals, right? It doesn't really matter. Like I always say, like I have these certain types I like working with. At the end of the day, it's the ones that are like those bright, shiny stars. It's the ones that you're like, shit, I look up to you. Like, well, Nas, you're the best. And I say, I'm nobody. Every client gets mad. I'm nobody. Nas, you somebody, man. You saved my life. I ain't nobody. I'm a piece of shit. That's what my dad says. And they laugh. My dad loves me. He's magnificent. He's the smartest man I know in my entire life. He just grew up in a certain area or like time frame and manipulation where he didn't get to be who he needed to be. And it became something else.
Very real. Yeah.
It is what it is. People use his protectiveness like they used to use mine, where he used violence. I decided to use my brain because he told me to use my brain. But besides the point, I say, I ain't nobody, man. But I'm somebody to you. So I turn it, right? I go like get him mad, but I'm somebody to you. And that's all I need, man. That's magnificent. You're going to be somebody. I just need you to do one thing. This is how you win therapy with me. Love other people. Even if other people are shitting on you or doing this or that or gender-related things, sexual race thing, I need you to be kind to other people too. Don't waste all this love. Don't gatekeep all this love, because that's the whitest thing you can do is gatekeep all this love. Don't do that. Well, you know, people are terrible, this and that, and all men suck. Yeah, I agree. A lot of us suck. But you'll die in that coldness and that bitterness. Your heart will shrivel up, fade. You'll be safe. You'll be safe. You'll never feel that pain anymore. But then you'll also never love anymore. And so then what? What was the point of doing therapy with me? I want you to love. And if you get hurt, you get hurt, man. That's the chance you take.
Yeah, that's the risk.
That's the risk.
That is the risk. So thank you. Brennan's giving me the time to.
Is it time?
So it is time.
That boy,
so
that
I
man's
appreciate.
Racist, man. He kicking me off, man. Racist, man. Sorry.
So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a bright, shiny star.
Yeah, I see how you turn it on me. Shut up.
Tricks. I'm learning your tricks.
That's why I don't tell no one nothing. That's why I never tell no one nothing as a man. I'm joking.
So I appreciate your presence and your willingness to just be here, be vulnerable, show up, and take a risk and share. So thank you.
It was my honor and privilege. You know, I saw you as a therapist, right? Awesome person. I'm like, yep, you're doing some pod stuff. I was like, I'll give anybody a shot. I'll talk to anybody about anything. My father told me you listen to everyone, you talk to everyone. And so I was like, sure, let's do it. I'm human too. I'm like, yeah, I vibe with this. You said all the things that I was like, I like this.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So it's an honor to be here with you and just to be human together, just to talk.
Yeah.
Might have got on my soapbox a few times, but it is what it is.
That's okay. I love it. I'm here for it. Yeah. My ADHD brain is like rant on. All
right. Yes. Much love. Thank you.
Much love. Thank you. All right. And thank you to everyone for listening in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.